Hi, this is Asim.
This is Sujoy.
This is Amrita.
And you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast about the three main Khans of the Hindi film industry.
Amir,
Salman,
and Shara.
Welcome to our current events edition where we discuss all the things we've watched of late, movies, shows and trailers. So as we were saying in our pre-recording show, ke Asim ki khair nahi aaj, right?
yeah. In the words of Nawaz Bhai, I have completely lost my track now.
You want to say sabka badla lega Faisal, but I've already done that joke on the last episode, man.
Yeah, I mean, if people are rehashing shit anyway, so why don't we get to do that?
Exactly. About reheating lukewarm shit. Let's talk about Radhe.
We should probably start by telling people what it is, because this is coming right in the middle of our other Khan limited edition series, but like mauka bhi hai, dastoor bhi hai,
sama bhi hai, Eid bhi hai.
By the way, Eid Mubarak, guys. Eid Mubarak. Let's start on some positive notes here, na?
And then it's all downhill from here.
ईद के लिए आसिम ने अपनी दुश्मनी निभाई, हमने दोस्ती निभाई. That's what's happening. So yeah, we're doing
ख्वाहिश थी बिरयानी की मिली टट्टी.
Oh God.
This is the level of shairi that we have right now. I want to actually start by giving a shout out to Faz, who is my only friend. And she listened to our last episode, which was about in which we reviewed the song, what is it? Dil De Diya, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, we did a couple of songs from Radhe, and she listened to it and then she watched the song herself. And was rightly traumatized, as was Beth, actually. I think a number of people hadn't watched that song, like Sujoy, and then they listened to Sujoy's live reaction and they were like, how bad can it be? And they found out. And Faz saw it and she said to me, and she specifically mentioned me, and she said, seriously, are Shah Rukh and Salman trying to lose their remaining fans? I have yet to recover after watching Zero and will be avoiding Radhe at all costs. Amrita, don't let them guilt you into watching it. And I'm not on Twitter as much these days, but Faz, it was too late. It was too late already. I had it already and I had to watch it.
But I have to say, no guilt was involved necessarily. This is not a Catholic podcast. We don't deal in guilt.
I have a lot of things to say. So, let's.
So for the uninitiated, this is the episode where we'll be talking about the shit show that is Radhe 2021. Yes. Your most wanted Bhai.
I do have to say that this is not a review. It's a discussion around Radhe. It's not a review of Radhe, right? I think we need to clarify things here first of all.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to review it anyway?
I love this part. I went to the IMDb because we also have to say this movie has not released everywhere, so I do think maybe we should be careful with spoilers. Should we or not? Should we just jump in?
No. There is no point. This is not a movie where you save the spoilers. If you are a person that is worried about spoilers for this movie, click away. Go listen to, we have more than 100 episodes. Go listen to any of those, because we are going to go full spoiler. Actually, I don't know about these two, but I am going full bada spoiler.
Okay.
But again, where are the big reveals for us to spoil as such? It's just a simple villain hai, Bhai hai, they fight, and that's it. Bhai wins.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying because a lot of people will not have seen this movie because of the distribution and Zplex not being available everywhere. Like it's releasing next week on the 17th in the UK. But
in the cinemas.
In the cinemas, right? So it's kind of staggered everywhere. So it might be that people are like, oh, I want to listen to the review and not get spoiled. But Khandaan is not that space. We spoil movies straight away because we want to have a full discussion. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. The second thing I wanted to put out there, which I really liked, I was like, maybe I should give a summary of this movie for the people that don't know what it's about. I went to IMDb and then the summary has nothing to do with this movie. So this summary has already been written before the movie came out. So which I thought was a very apt way to write an IMDb summary for this movie. So like, for example, after taking the dreaded gangster Ghani Bhai, ACP Rajveer Shekhawat, aka Radhe, goes on a manhunt to find the wealthiest man of the town secretly running a crime syndicate. Does this summary have anything to do with the movie we have watched?
No.
What I really enjoyed was in the wiki page, they were talking about like how he's an undercover cop, and I was like, kahe ka undercover? Like he wears plain clothes. If that's the definition of undercover, then I don't think that word means what you think it means.
I think he was undercover in the first movie, right? In Wanted.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he's undercover anymore because Bhai ne sab cover nikal diye.
But I was listening to our friend Harun Rashid's interview with Salman Khan, which is kind of awesome that he got to do that on his show Beyond Bollywood. And there, Salman Khan clearly is saying this is not a sequel to Wanted, which was news to me. I was like, wait, did we change the destination middle of our journey? Like, what happened? Like, where are we going now? Like, apparently, this is not a sequel to Radhe, which we find out after watching Radhe. This has never been done before.
There are no rules except Salman rules.
Yeah, we have been gaslit by the filmmakers here. This is what's happened. Like, this is not what we thought. So, I think all of the preamble out of the way. Amrita, you can discharge.
Yes. Okay, I actually want to go like one by one. From like top to bottom. I want to give this movie more thought than any single person involved in its production. Like, that's how this is going to go. So, let's start with the beginning of this film. Where you have this shot, okay, like it's a CGI overhead shot for no good reason, but that's beside the point. Like, there's no good reason for this entire movie. So, like a shot is like dur ki baat. But it opens with a CGI shot of this car that is going through the ceiling. Now, if you are not familiar with Bombay, then Bombay has this very fancy bridge that goes over the water. And it's very expensive. It's very pretty, and like a lot of like Bombay movies like to like talk about it. So it's going over this bridge, and it zooms inside this car, and these two like Chipli fools are driving it, and Randeep Hooda is like sitting in the back, and these two guys are supposed, I think, to like sound as if they are. They're menacing because they're like henchmen, But what they actually sound like is like they're about to rape somebody, and the somebody is Bombay. So they're like sitting there and they're like saying things like, "Paisa milega, paisa." And what does he say? Like, I can't remember the exact line, but that's okay. Like, the dialogue in this film is like nothing. But it's something like, "Kya khoobsurat city hai bhai, paisa milega, paisa." And then it zooms to like Randeep Hooda. And then it immediately, after they say that, like Mumbai is so pretty and everything, it immediately moves to this Khandaan where everything is falling apart. And then they drag out this guy, and they're like, "Gajni dekhiye, Gajni," which is like the first of many Khan related references throughout this film. And then they basically beat this guy to death with some like a giant hammer sort of a thing. So I wanted to ask, Asim, like when you were watching that, like did you immediately know that this was going to be a good film for you, Asim?
I thought when he mentioned Gajni that they were gonna like tattoo on his chest like how much money he owed, because they were like really into like pehli tune nahi di delivery, दूसरी nahi di delivery. I don't know. I thought that shot was actually one of the best parts in the movie. Like I was like, wow, kya paisa laga hai, And honestly, I don't think that bridge has been shown in a nice way. I was like, yeah, this is. I didn't know where we were, so I thought that was kind of cool, but. I agree with you, but because this is a theme throughout this movie that they cannot pick a lane. Like, are these guys like some threatening underground mafia? But it's only basically 3 guys, right?
Yeah. And how are they even running an organization with just 3? Like, they don't explain the whole supply chain. They want to own the drug mafia in the city, but like, it's just 3 people. How are they bringing in mal? Who is manufacturing it? How are they distributing it? Nothing.
And also, like, you would think, like, the way... Because this movie is a remake of a Korean movie, right? So the entire styling of these 3 guys is like a Korean movie, and that's it. Nothing else. And, like, Korean movies like stabbing people a lot, so there's a lot of stabbing in Radhe too. So that's the only part I feel that's been taken. And these guys are dressed like Korean gangsters, clearly. But they're basically just coming from Delhi. So I was like, wait, is this some, like, international drugs consortium coming? But then later I was like, to Delhi se aaya. I was like, wait, from there? Like, he just drove down? That's it? Like, so yes, yeah.
And then what happens is, now there's the drug angle, as Asim was saying. And the drug angle is that these guys are apparently forcing children to buy their drugs. Which... and the kids are like, I don't want to do drugs, but I'm being forced to use drugs, so I'm just going to kill myself. And there's like, apparently, like, that's, an entire thing. And at that point, I had to like pause, because you have to understand, like, this is a Salman Khan movie coming out in the year of our Lord 2021, in the wake of a very famous death in Bollywood of an actor called Sushant Singh Rajput. Perhaps some of you might have heard of his name and what happened to him. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, the hate that was building up against Salman and his family in particular, but also like against this movie. And then on top of that, they're like showing some kid who's like using drugs and then killing themselves, and I'm just like, who thought that this was a good idea?
And this movie is so surface level, even from that drug angle, right? There is a famous screenshot that is doing the rounds, when they are showing the montage of the drug problem in Mumbai, and they show basically a headline of a newspaper basically saying this kid, the headline of the newspaper is saying the mother is saying that my kid jumped because of the drug problem, and it was written in his suicide letter that the drugs took me. I'm like, wow, who even... I don't even know how to begin comprehending that.
And there's a lot of like, बच्चे हमारा future है, बच्चे हमारा future है, and then you finally meet one of these बच्चे who are their future, and I'm pretty sure that's Arbaz and Malaika.
Also, this angle was already my second whiplash in this movie, because suddenly I was like, wait, did they just copy paste the scene from Jai Ho inside of this movie? Because that's the level of filmmaking, and like, it's such a sincere, very easy approach to filmmaking that makes it ridiculous. But it's like a very like Cinderella kind of very base level idea of what drugs are and what the solution is. It's like, like a child's play kind of thing. But like, we were just, like killing a gangster 3 seconds ago with like a sledgehammer. So who is this movie meant to be for? So it's super confusing.
It is for bache who are our future.
And the same bache who know what social media is.
And then we move to the all-important Bhai ki entry, in which Salman, conquers the space-time continuum. But why?
Do you know what I wrote in my notes for that scene?
What?
Mere do bhai.
But you have to explain the scene, right? People have maybe not seen
it.
this movie. What exactly is happening is very important.
So it's on the one hand, the police are having this sort of very important meeting ki, शहर में drugs हैं, बच्चे हमारा future हैं. What do we do about this? So then one of them says, sir, this is not for ordinary police officers. For this, you need a special cop. And they're like, who's the special cop? And they're like, Radhe. And next you see, so all the villain layers in this film are basically designed by Gauri Khan for some reason. I have like all the, the Gauri Khan's company, the name of which I can't remember, but like if you've ever seen any advertisement from it or like inside pics of Mannat, that's what all the villain layers look like. To the point where I was like, did they just shoot most of this movie in somebody's house? And just like use that as a set. But yes, Asim and Sujoy, explain the action sequence that then unfolds that introduces Bhai to us.
So we're in a skyscraper, right? We're in a skyscraper. Like we're on like a top level floor, right? And there's like gangster shenanigans happening, right? And then, like, I don't even know how to explain this. Bhai comes running through a window, and I was like, where did he run from? Like, did he? I mean, either he jumped out of the helicopter, but then the angle doesn't make sense because he's really running like, in a straight line. Or there's a building next door and he ran from one building to the other. In both cases, those would be pretty amazing stunts to see. But the shot starts with just Salman breaking through the window like he's Flash, basically. Yeah. Right?
But when he breaks through the window, he breaks through it so fast that the window doesn't break.
Salman is really into spitting in this movie. I don't know if, again, that's like some sexual thing or like he's like, kabhi butta phek deta hai, kabhi glass phek deta hai. Like, he's like really into spitting into people. And then immediately there's the first big action sequence, which is kind of like Matrix, I think, what they're trying to do, because Salman, like, I think in the concept that they had could have been cool, but the execution is like so badly done. Like, because another thing, and we spoke about this last time when we were discussing the song, Salman is really into taking people's mundis and like, pulling them in different direction, like ye dekh, wo dekh. So he does that a lot in the movie too. So he takes the villain's mundi and he's like, look at this. Here is where I beat up this guy. And then we see how Salman beat up some guy. And then he shakes the mundi on the other side and then he's beating up some other guy. And then he moves his mundi to him and then gives a lecture about that he apparently raped a corpse and then Salman is avenging it for womankind and then he blank shoots him. That's the first action scene, right?
That, by the way, like I was not expecting the necrophilia, I have to say. Like that was an extra special Prabhudeva touch, I feel.
Did you count? I counted the number of mentions and actual rapes and sexual assaults in this movie. I got up to 7.
Yeah, Prabhudeva was like, "Aaj kuch tufani karte hain, necrophilia for this one,
Exactly. So 7. Prabhudeva, you accept a few. You know that there's going to be this nonsense in there, but necrophilia is taking it a step. Even I could not have comprehended that this was like a bachon ki film. Like 5 minutes ago, we were lecturing kids about drugs, and now this is about necrophilia. Like what? Crazy.
So here is where I started noticing the weird thing about Salman's physique, which we are going to discuss at length, by the way. But
perfect.
In this particular scene, like the first introduction scene, which is where you're supposed to be like, oh, ye to bhai hai and everything. But the thing is, Salman is a senior citizen. Okay. So, abhi aisa hai, like he can't properly like open his eyes. So he's always squinting right throughout this movie. And in this particular scene, they really miscalculated because the guy who's playing the bad guy in this particular scene appears to be like a normal height human being, you know, like he's probably like 5'10", 6 feet tall. And Salman, because he's putting on so much bulk, he's spreading horizontally. So what has happened here is that Salman has turned into a rectangle kind of a person. So I know I make a lot of jokes about Amir being like a Tingu person, but like Amir, you know, like unless it's something like Ghajni, he's still kind of like a human being shaped person. But Salman has no neck in this thing, and then also his arms are like, you know, like the Visual Idiot cartoon. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, like back in the day. But he literally looks the way Sahil used to draw Salman in those, those cartoons.
Like, Salman's body is now such that it messes up the aspect ratio of the cinema of the movie that you're watching. Like, you know, like it just...
So that was like what apart from the space-time continuum and the necrophilia, like this is what I got out of it. But then the most amazing part, and the reason why I actually sat through this entire movie, is what happens next, which is the scene cuts back to the police officers, you know, like meeting. And the commissioner says, Radhe kahan hai? Kahan hai? And the guy who proposed his name in the first place says, Abhi wo suspension mein hai. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And, you know, like we've talked so many times about like, you know, the fascism of the police state and like how it has such, you know, like such a huge platform in Bollywood as of late. Like, I don't think that we need to rehash any of those old, you know, like discussions that we've had at length. But yeah, like this is where it starts. Like, you know, like police hai, kuch bhi hai.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also like, okay, I mean, I think a lot of times I'll try to like break down the logic of the movie, which I didn't understand. But first of all, when you were talking about that, you know, his bulk and his mass, the other thing also is the age, right, in this movie.
Yeah.
Because Salman is old and he needs to play young, so the young people need to play old. So the guy, he's like probably like 28. But he has white hair and he's supposed to be like an older mafia don. Like it doesn't make any sense. And then you have Salman, who's brought in as this super cop, right? That's what he's essentially is. But then if you bring in a super cop, why is he not heading the department? Why are you then putting him under Jackie Shroff? Like, that doesn't even make sense, right? Like the logistics of how you make a movie like this doesn't make sense in Radhe. Like, it's absurd to me. And I was like just banging my head, like, is this Prabhudeva's fault, or is this because they don't have a writer, or what's going on? Like, it was so frustrating from me from the start. I was really
from a logic point, it doesn't work where how the crime syndicate works. They don't give a shit about how the cops are working. They don't give a shit about anything in this universe. Everything is so disjointed and so half-assed, and you just move from one skit to another. It's just like, abhi gaane ka time hai, so we'll insert just after somebody gets killed, we'll insert a song because we've gone like 30 minutes without the song and we have to have T-Series ka paisa, you know. It's just like that. This whole movie is just an excuse of, Eid ka time hai, to bhai ki movie aani chahiye.
But like the thing is, like, he comes into the department, right? And then kind of the comedy sequences start with Jackie Shroff.
Yeah.
This movie treats Jackie Shroff in the worst possible manner. Like, I don't understand, like, how... It was Jackie only there to babysit, or no, not babysit.
A chaperone.
That's the word I was looking for. Is he there to just chaperone Disha Patani in this movie? Like कि इसके साथ कुछ गलत ना हो, we don't... I couldn't understand it, like why he was...
So Jackie in this movie is Disha Patani's brother.
Oh my God, that's what I mean with old people have to be young and young people have to be old. Like it doesn't make any sense in this movie, right?
Okay, so now we are basically having like a round of introductions. So there's like a bunch of people that Radhe is working with in the police department, which is basically like, I think this is like the made in China version of the team from like a Wednesday or like, like one of those good movies. This is like
I
the
got
pop
like
version.
proper nostalgia from Saho.
Oh, I didn't watch Saho.
The only thing missing was Shraddha from this.
So instead of Shraddha, we have Disha Patani, who it's amazing to me. Like, I have never seen a woman wear fewer clothes and be so sexless at the same time. Like, it's incredible to me. Like, I don't know, like, did you guys find, like, obviously, like, I'm a straight woman, so maybe my standards are different. Did you guys find her attractive?
I don't know. She was just okay, I guess. Like, I don't know. I had given up on that movie by then, so I didn't like.
Dude, she came in 20 minutes. The end, she's in the 20 minutes. Why you give up already?
Aurat zaat ke liye. That's why I gave up.
No, I think she's a very attractive young girl. Like, I'm an uncle. I cannot make these statements anymore. But honestly, I feel Disha Patani comes out the best out of this movie. When anything comes, is a positive result, is probably Disha Patani, I think. Her and Randeep Hooda.
I just want to point out that Asim grew up watching Salman ke films, and now Salman is acting opposite Disha Patani, and Asim is like, I feel too much of an uncle to say whether or not she's attractive.
That's how bad it is. Like, it's so horrible. And honestly, the moment the casting news came out, I was on the case of this thing, right? Like, Salman was also already shooting Suryavanshi when she was a baby. Like, he was a full-grown He-Man with a big-ass sword on a horse. And Disha Patani was a baby. Like, it's insane to me that these are cast together. And, like, again, I've said this before, at least in Bharat, they were, like, CGIing him to be like a young 18 saal ka bachcha, right? It made sense, like, in a way. But this, he's, like, he looks full 56 years old. He does not look young, whatever. He looks fully 56 years old. Like,
and like, we'll talk about Salman and CGI in a minute, because I have so many things to say about it. But the introduction scene of Disha is like, basically she is riding a motorcycle. Why? We don't know. She never rides one again. But she's like...
probably, like, whatever reason this movie has for any object is product placement. Every phone, every car, every bicycle, every shirt, everything is product placement in this movie.
The bicycle thing was especially great because it's a being human bicycle, and Bhai drives it rides it very stylishly, and then he ends with like throwing like all the other bicycles down.
Okay.
Very symbolic.
So, okay, then we have to add probably Disha Patani, Randeep Hooda and the being human cycles probably come out well out of Radhe. We have three things.
But like Disha's introduction scene, it's like none of the people involved in the production have ever met a woman. They know like there's a thing called a woman and that they exist somewhere in the wild, but they've never actually met one, so they don't have any idea how they might work. Because what happens is, Disha Patani is like just randomly on the street, and Salman sees her randomly on the street, and he makes like some lucha comment about like, hi, mera naseeb, and then he goes up to her as she's driving in her car and she's trying to go somewhere, and he goes and like stands in front of her car and pretends like he he can't walk because he's been walking for 6 kilometers or something. And Disha's response to this is not, Chipade, get out of the way. Or like, I'm going to call my dad, my brother, my dad, it seems. My brother, the police officer. No. Her reaction is, come sit in my car. I'll come drop you wherever you want.
And then Bhai says, no, you should not trust any strangers. And she threatens him, like, come and sit next to me.
Yeah. She's basically Baba Sehgal, right? She Aja Meri Gaadi mein.
Nice one.
Disha Patani's character written by Baba Sehgal.
I'm going to say that if there are any like young, unattached, men who are listening to this podcast and they're trying to look for tips on how to get a girlfriend from Bhai in this film, you're going to die alone forever. Like, this is
Also,
not going to work.
wasn't this one of those lockdown Corona scenes where there's nobody on the road? Like, doesn't it look like totally empty? Like, where did they shoot this? They're in Mumbai, right? Like, this is not a city of one car. Like, where will you find a road that only has one car? But it's so eerily silent. It looked really, really weird. So it becomes even more enhanced when she's like, Aja meri gaadi mein baith ja. It's like, no, don't do that.
And they drive off to Galaxy Apartments.
Yeah.
And by the way, we also have to say that here the second kind of subplot of this movie starts, which is Salman Khan tells Disha Patani that he's not a cop because he hears her on the phone talking to Jackie Shroff and telling her she hates cops, which again doesn't get mentioned ever again. She seems to have a strained relationship with Jackie Shroff because she's a model, and then that never comes up again. They're apparently the bestest brother and sisters ever in the world. But then
that comes after Jackie Shroff, to drive home the point that she's a model. Jackie Shroff calls her up explicitly to slut shame her about her work and tell her not to be such a whore.
Yeah. And then Salman hears that and he says, I'm not a cop, I'm an aspiring model. So that becomes kind of a second comedy thread throughout the movie where Disha is constantly helping Salman, this 56-year-old steroided up broad man, to become a model.
So this is again like another throwback to Ghajini, right? Like it's the same thing that Amir did in Ghajini to get Asim, right? Remember? Right.
Oh, totally forgot that.
But it then leads to, now we shall talk about the CGI of it all. Because now we come to the part where Salman is a aspiring model. Now in Ghajini, the big thing was like Asim found, Amir a gig in which he would have to pose in his underwear. And she was like, it's a proper job, like it'll pay your rent and stuff. And he was like, nahi. But this is Salman. Salman has no problems getting naked. So he's like, that is okay. So he goes to get his portfolio. She asks him for a portfolio pic. So he, for no good reason, he needs to take a photo to send her as his portfolio pic. So of course, he takes a selfie of himself in the bathroom.
While peeing. While peeing.
With one hand while the other hand is... Sorry.
This is... Yeah, and then she's like, Chi, why did you send me a photo of you in the bathroom? Never mind, I'll set up a portfolio pic for me. I'm like, who are you? Like, what, Adbhut Jeevi is what she is. She's not like a woman.
Yeah.
She's literally
By the way,
an Adbhut Jeevi.
Can I just add, if you're taking a selfie while you're peeing, you are definitely getting pee on your belt buckle, by the way. Just as a side note. Radhe had drenched his belt buckle with pee in that scene. I just want to say that.
We could have lived without that knowledge.
We're getting deep into the story. I just want to tell people because Amrita doesn't know how we pee. Like she doesn't know if we find Disha attractive. So I'm telling her, like, if that happens in real life, your belt buckle is full of pee. That's what happens. Okay.
I don't want to know how you figured out the logistics of this, but okay, good to know.
Ask me for a selfie next time. Now then you'll know.
So then he goes for portfolio pick, which is actually, this is not how portfolio picks work, by the way. I went to college in Bangalore for a while. Every second person I knew was getting their portfolio done for, for Bidappa, basically, back in the day. So I know how portfolios work, and you don't just show up at like a work shoot and be like, take my photo. Aisa nahi hota. But this is Salman, so logic ki to maa bain, like, like nobody cares. So Disha has a job, and she is doing this shoot where she is clearly the star. And she gets a photographer to take his photos also. And the photographer is obviously like, this is a Salman film, so obviously he's gay and he's a stereotype, and he's like, like, tum kabhi Bollywood mein kaam nahi kar sakte and everything, and he's, like touching Salman and everything.
You Big Boss क्यों नहीं try करते? Amrita, how are you forgetting these key lines? Somebody wrote this के क्या और like they had like a whole, when serial killers, when cops are trying to figure out serial killers, they have this whole board with like maps and lines. This writer had all of these references of Salman. They actually put the pungi from Hello Brother in a dance move. Like, how do you not respect it by not adding that he mentions Big Boss explicitly, Amrita?
So then, Asim, I want to hear your version. Like, what happens next?
Yes. So, Avatar, right? Like the James Cameron movie?
I thought you were talking about Rajesh Khanna ka Avatar.
So, they put these actors in these CGI things where they become blue aliens, right? So, what Radhe has done, they have brought this technology over to India, and they have used it to only use Salman's eyes in this scene, only his eyes, and the rest is like a CGI avatar body around him. So nothing is real at that moment. And, like, if you've ever seen making of videos of, The Hobbit and like Game of Thrones, you see the acting really lies in the fact that the performer on the other side is acting towards like a tennis ball. The tennis ball is a dragon, and you have to kind of emote against that. So here you have Disha Patani, who is very well known as the girlfriend of Tiger Shroff, who for argument's sake has probably the best physique currently in Bollywood. And the moment she sees this CGI body of Salman, Disha Patani goes crazy. Like, him and the offensive gay stereotype next to her cannot control themselves about what, embodiment of masculinity they are seeing in front of this 56-year-old CGI man.
And not only them, everybody in the studio just huddles around this CGI nipple of Bhai.
Yeah. So that's kind of what happens at that moment. And I think we are supposed to mirror the reaction that either the gay, stereotype or the Patani is having. But me as a fan, like a true blooded Salman Khan fan, was cringing so hard. If, I'd lost my eyesight after that moment, I was like, sab dekh liya humne. I've seen it all.
So just after watching that scene, I messaged Asim saying, have you seen it yet? Oh, the jokes you're going to make with this nipple.
So at that moment, when I saw that shot, two things came to mind. One is I then understood what that first wave of viewers must have thought when they saw Race 3 for the first time. I was like, this must be the experience, like this is the genuine experience of watching something where at this point, like, it wasn't just that the movie was bad. It was like, I wanted to see just how bad could it get. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, meri aankhein, like, it couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I was like, okay, I want to actually see where this will go. But the second thing that came to mind was something that Asim said in our last episode, where he was talking about the psychology of Salman. Now, true blue Khan fans know that on the internet, there is a meme that goes around. And it is Salman on the sets of the first Wanted getting his CGI on. So he is out of shape, and he is, in some sort of like fight scene kind of a thing, and he's got like a tone and everything. And apparently, like, he's getting his CGI body on. And a lot of Shah Rukh fans in particular like to bring that thing up and talk about how all his muscles are fake and everything. So I thought maybe this is just Salman giving an extra FU to like all the people who want to say that, like his body is obviously like not real. And he's like, if it's not real, I'll show you what's really not real.
We saw Sultan, right? His body is an essential part of the movie, right? It has a meaning. He's shirtless. Moments like it has an emotional impact, it has like a meaning, like this man is really strong, like he can lift a tractor even if he has a tond and he's wearing this gaudy sweater, right? Like it has meaning. Here it's just, honestly, it's embarrassing. Like it doesn't look good, like, and it's really, really terrible, and I feel bad for everybody involved. And the thing is, like, on the posters, and clearly when you see him in Instagrams and things like that, he looks good. Like, he doesn't look like bad. Like, there's no need for this.
Yeah.
There's no need at all. And still they kind of force it upon you. It's like, when a bully is like already beaten you and then he's still spitting on you and then like kapde phad raha hai. It feels like that, like hum haar chuke hain, like hum ho gaya bhai,
But then okay, so we have this and then we are like, why did we have this? But then like worse is to follow, because then we have the famous like actually, I don't remember. There's like a lot of things that happens, like one skit after another. So I don't really remember what happens exactly afterwards. But eventually we end up in the nightclub where, there's this... in the middle, there's like Randeep Hooda doing like crime shit. And he's like raping women. And like, of course he's raping women. And, and then he's like killing people. And he's like cutting them into little things and putting them in a suitcase. And I did laugh when Jackie was like, itna bada aadmi aur itna chota suitcase ho hi nahi sakta. Like, I was like, okay, that's funny.
But even like Jackie, I don't know if he's corrupt or is he incompetent or he's like comedy uncle. They never really pick a lane there either, right? Like they do put him in a dress and they, they do, you almost see the crack of his ass. And I was like, what is going on, man? Like, it's so like absurd. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh, so in the middle of all this, there is another subplot with Disha Patani, which I honestly don't understand at all. Like, wo kaun hai? There is one guy and he employs her.
Shower Ali.
Shower Ali is in it too,
So he is her boss and he wants to get into her pants, but then Salman shows up and ruins his plans, and therefore he ends up making friends with Randeep Hooda and tells him that I'll bankroll your escape from this city as long as you murder Salman. But who is he? Like, is he like he's also hanging out with a guy that I thought was his bodyguard but is actually a police officer.
Yeah, he's the ACP or something like that.
Yeah. The rival to Jackie.
Yeah.
But who is he? Uska kya hai isme? Like, where did he come from? Where did
he is
go?
Salman's friend. That's who he is. That's like everybody that you don't know, he's just Salman's friend. Like, why is Shower Ali in there? Because he's Salman's friend. Like, that's the reason. Like, there's no other reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that whole thing happening, and then there's a song with Disha, and Disha invites Salman to this party where obviously they dance, and then Salman has a nightmare where Disha transforms into Jackie.
That's very much like Ross and the Princess Leia moment when he pictures his mom as Rachel. It's kind of like that, but instead of Disha Patani, it's Jackie Shroff in that skimpy little red dress.
Yeah.
But then there's a like a throwaway, like sort of scene that suggests that maybe Jackie's a lech, like he's sleeping around with like multiple women.
No, he's going to like a brothel, right? Straight up.
I have no idea what that was, but it was the same place, right? Like, wasn't it at the same place as the party? Like, why is Disha Patani's party at a brothel?
Those were two separate things.
But understandable that it's not, not clear, because the movie is just like randomly jumping from one set to the other. And it doesn't make sense. That's the club that they raid, and then they have the fight sequence in, right?
That's right.
The first fight between Randeep, Hooda and Bhai in that bathroom, which kind of looks like Mission Impossible.
Yes.
But also is that actual scene is in the Korean original, The Outlaw. And that kind of was good to me. Like, I can see that Bhai is not exactly the all-powerful, and you can see the might and the power of Randeep Hooda as Rana. And so like the you see the hierarchy with this, and like that Rana is also like formidable, and they are actually having a fight, and Bhai gets beaten to shit, That was really cool to watch. But after that, it was, as you said, Randeep Hooda is probably the only one that comes out of this movie as like one of the standouts, and everything else is just meh.
And even that, like, there's the whole sequence where he gets stabbed with a knife. Like I said, Korean movies love stabbing shit. So he's like, he has a knife in his back or something. And then he pulls out the knife. And again, I'm, a huge Salman fan. So I've seen many times Salman pull out knives out of his body. Like, he does it very famously in Bandhan. He does it very famously in Veergati. Like, this is a sequence. This is a sequence. But it's like, this is like such a tired version of that, right? Like, we've seen it, and this is like such a terrible version. Like, they couldn't even think of, I don't know if this was a reference to his older movies, but then usually when he does it, he's like fully, pumped up and muscular. Here, the only time he takes off his shirt is that Disha Patani scene, because he understands visually it doesn't look good anymore. But like, they still want to pull out that knife, and he's just gotten beat up. I don't know. I like that sequence, like it's in the bathroom, but everything after that, and even in that bathroom, when then the lady cop comes in, and she's basically, the lamb that will go to slaughter. Know where it's gonna go, right?
What the was that all about? Like, how did she become a police officer if she's like a,
Wait. So that was one of my all-time favorite scenes. So what happens is, it's a fight in the nightclub. This is the nightclub where Jacqueline Fernandez is basically destroying Pardesia. And we discussed this entire song. Actually, the whole trailer, that was basically the whole song. So if you've seen the trailer of that song, then you've seen the whole thing. And we discussed it in our last episode, so I'm not going to repeat it. So we have that, and then it obviously devolves into this fight, and then the guys are saying, it takes place in the bathroom. And this movie has a strong Mission Impossible hangover, especially in the climax. But again, we'll come to that. So then they have the fight in the bathroom, and it's good. Randeep Hooda is really cashing his check. And then after that, what happens is there's one female cop, which is bargain basement Tapsi Pannu. And she gets knifed in the neck. And she goes to the, hospital and everything, and gets her stitched up or whatever. And then he's also wounded. So, two wounded people meet on a bench in the hospital the way you do. And she's like, sir, mujhse nahi hoga, sir. I can't do, all this police-giri and all, the way that you do it. I can't do it. I'm too scared. I got hurt. I can't do it. And then he gives her this pep talk, पीछे डर के पीछे क्या है, डर के आगे क्या है, and I don't actually remember what डर के आगे पीछे क्या है.
No, he says डर के आगे जिंदगी है, and I was like, नहीं यार, डर के आगे जीत है, and he should have pulled out a Mountain Dew after that.
I'm taking bets they had a Mountain Dew endorsement in talks,
and it fell through.
They had to do zindagi. But then I started laughing in that scene because I was like, oh my god, this is Salman doing women's empowerment. That's what this is.
This is basically Rani's speech ke, I know karate, why don't women learn karate? This is that, but in this movie, right?
Yeah. Bhai's playing it.
And she's like, ha sir, you've convinced me, I will go become a fascist also. And then Disha Patani shows up, of course, and Disha Patani just shows up at like random points throughout this movie. Like there's like he'll be having like there'll be a scene where it has nothing to do with her character and she contributes absolutely nothing to it.
Yeah.
But she'll just come, make give like Salman a little puchi and say like, oh so cute, mera baby, and then
Bholu. He calls him
boy,
Bholu.
Bholu ladka, chota sa munna sa papa sa minna sa bachcha.
But also at the same time, she embarrasses him, like when he falls asleep standing up and he's like, "Khade so gaya."
Oh, that is another thing, by the way. Like Salman just like there are certain scenes in this film where Salman is literally like there is a level of not giving a flying where it is like this is not blatant. This is like some elevated shit that I'm too like pedestrian to understand. Like I don't know what is happening here because he's literally falling asleep. Like he's doing an action sequence where he's like beating up somebody and he's like literally like slumped over in a chair falling asleep and I'm like, yeah, like what is this? Anyway, so that all happens and then there is the climax. So the climax is the last, I think, like 2 hours of this movie because it's literally the same thing over and over again. Randeep Hooda ko pakda, nahi, bhag gaya. Usko pakda, nahi, bhag gaya. Pakda, nahi, bhag gaya. Like it just goes on and on. Like kitna bhagega? Like what is happening? But yeah, and then Disha gets kidnapped in the middle of all this. And all of a sudden...
Disha got kidnapped, I remember. Yeah. Suddenly, okay.
And then all of a sudden, her character just completely changes. Because now it's apparently like she's a shrew. And you need to put like duct tape over her mouth because she's so, like, she scolds everybody.
Basanti, yeah.
Ye kab hua?
Nobody knows. And then the kids show up for the social media campaign, right?
Man, honestly, I saw this movie like 2 days ago. You're telling me things and I've totally blanked it out of my brain. Like there's no recollection of all of this happening. Oh yeah, that also, yeah, it's true. This happened in the movie. There were images and dialogue referring to this in the movie.
So, that kid is Arbaz's son, nahi?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He has
Might be
to
like,
be.
yeah.
Like
100%.
he has,
Yeah.
like has to 100%. It's a nepo hire. Like there's no way some random kid is getting that much footage, and like Salman being like, "Beta, you are our future." Like repeatedly, like 10 times, this kid is called out and like, "Beta, you are our future." And I'm like, "ये बच्चा किसका है?" Like, ये किसी का तो बच्चा है. Like there's no way that this kid is like some random kid. हो ही नहीं सकता.
I'm going through IMDb. I cannot there is an Azan in there. Is his name Azan, one of his kids?
There is another one called Aryan Arora. I don't know if that is Malaika's son or I don't know.
It
Man,
must be.
I'm going through IMDb and there's one actress, Shweta Yadav, and her credit is Girl Raped by Hira Lal. I don't even remember who Hira Lal was.
The first villain in the tower.
Okay.
The necrophilic. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. अच्छा. उसका नाम हीरा लाल था.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, is there anything else that happens before the climax? Because I don't remember.
I don't think it matters, to be honest. Like I think a lot of like the thing is like how this movie is only 1 hour 49 minutes long, right?
Yeah.
But watching it feels 7 hours long, and now that we're talking about it, there's entire sequences of at least 20 minutes that I've totally forgotten, man. Like it's insane how this movie screws up your brain. And honestly, this was not a movie where I was on my phone. I was actually actively watching it. Like there was like I was really hopeful that something I might like, and I was really, the action sequence is not bad. There's a few comedy elements that Salman does that I was like, this is that old Salman that I used to like, you know. that he's funny or he's like charming or something like that, but there was so little. Like there were maybe like 2-3 positive points that I could find. Really full focus, wasn't on my phone, wasn't talking to anybody. As a Salman Khan fan, I gave it all that Salman wants from me, and this movie gave nothing back to me. Like it's
but I am actually shocked to find out that this movie is only an hour and 49 minutes, because I could swear this went on for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
It did feel like that, yeah, for sure. But I think before the climax, there is this one sequence where Randeep Hooda is, he one of his henchmen smokes the banquet hall, and then he goes on a rampage to kill everyone in his way. That's again a straight up lift from the same sequence happens in the Outlaws, and I think they did a good job with that. That was okay.
I mean, honestly, there's lots that happen that we haven't even talked about, right? Like initially there's 2 gangs in Bombay and Salman brings those 2 gangs together. That happens.
Yeah.
Then there's the other subplot of this guy Mansoor, who actually, that actor I've met at the O2 once. We were like, I think there was some Indian street food festival and I met him. Anyway, I think it might be him. He is in there and his girlfriend also gets raped. And then he has a plot point where he's trying to beat her up and then he goes back against Randeep Hooda. So that happens. Then one of the henchmen gets kidnapped by Salman, and then Salman puts these other 2 Bhondu cops in there to trick him that they have drugs, and then there's all of this. So there's a lot happening that we haven't even mentioned, but none of that is really important or has any consequences whatsoever. Like it's insane. Like all of these things happen, and like I like that guy, that bodyguard guy, right? Like the second one, henchman. I was like, yeah, this guy has some screen presence. Like you could do something with him, but the movie is just like he's laughing like an idiot, and like it's really like odd beats that they're trying to combine the Korean original, which I unfortunately haven't seen. It wasn't streaming anywhere. I was really trying to capture it, like watch it, because I was thinking ye kya tha and kya bana diya. I want to see what the basis of it was, right?
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it. But I imagine that guy is pretty much trying to do the Korean. You've seen it? You've seen the original, Sushant?
Yeah, I have seen it. But
so tell me,
whilst watching it, I was realizing, this is actually a remake of the Outlaws, and I had seen it quite a while ago, but
yeah. So they do credit it. It's the first thing when the credits come up, they say it's an remake of the Outlaw. So at least we cannot tell them that they've copied or lifted or anything like that, because they tell it straight away. But I imagine the whole Disha Patani thing is not in the original, right?
No,
cannot
definitely
be, right?
not.
Like, is there even like a female actress, like performer in the Outlaws?
No, it's pretty much a male-driven gang of cops versus gangsters.
Yeah.
Well, what did they actually achieve by introducing a female character? It's not like Disha Patani's character actually contributes anything to the story overall,
And the funny part is, so this movie starts. Ma Dong Seok, I think that's how I pronounce it. I'm not good at pronouncing Korean names, but like when we were having our live stream, I was actually mentioning this guy explicitly because I was saying this is the kind of movie Salman should be making. I didn't know that he was in the Outlaws, and like my idea came with full good intentions, but if this is what they're gonna do with it, like fuck it, man, I don't want to play anymore.
What's really funny to me is that in the 90s, when they used to just steal all these ideas from Korea and stuff, they used to make like beat for beat copies, and those movies were like mostly watchable. And now they're buying the rights and they're doing this to them. I'm just like, why? You have the rights. Make it like beat for beat. At least that way, it's like movie making by the numbers.
Prabhudeva has creative integrity,
Oh, so much integrity. Integrity phut case mein dala hai.
What did you guys think of the songs?
None of them were good.
Why was City Mar where it was? Like, it just...
Yeah.
like, for no good reason.
Yeah, they just like randomly pop it, and I think they spent like the most money on that song, I think. Because they also have that...
Trying to make Bhai move.
Okay, I do have to say, there was a lot of mention about why would you have a Allu Arjun movie and then him being such a good dancer put Salman in there and try to copy that. I actually figured out watching C.T. Mar, Salman is not supposed to be Allu Arjun in that setup. He's supposed to be Pooja Hegde, and Disha Patani is supposed to be Allu Arjun. Like, they switch the roles around. That's what's happened.
Oh, Bhai again for female empowerment.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Like, she's doing all the quick footsteps up and down, and he's just doing, like, what Pooja does, which is not much,
Like, I've said this before and I'm gonna say it again. Like, I feel bad for Salman. Like, Salman, it's like watching your dad being forced to dance at a wedding. I'm just like, kyun? Like, let him rest. Thoda sa aaraam karne do.
They make him do these, like, moves on the floor. It's like, yaar, like, shoulder dislocate ho jayega, hip toot jayegi. I do that move in the gym. It's like, it's like a Turkish sit-up or something like that. You put your leg like that and it's like a full body workout. But why would you do that in a dance video? I don't understand. And it looks really awkward. Like you can get really hurt, man. Like, at Salman, at this age, at this point, I hope you warmed up, because these are not the moves you should be doing, Only compound at the moment.
So I have a question, because we are at almost the 1 hour mark anyway. I just wanted to ask, like, where does Salman go next from here?
I hope it's retirement.
I don't think that's going to happen as long as,
No, it's not going to happen.
No, so I was actually in a Clubhouse discussion about this with Raja Sen and a few other people. And I talked a lot. It was organized by Harneet Singh. So it was quite a lively discussion, and Raja was very, very frustrated with Salman. And I was basically saying that this is going to go on the way it goes on until he fires his entire team. And the first person he needs to fire is his stylist. Because, like, look at it, the clothes he's wearing. It makes him actively look bad. Like, it's terrible clothes that he's wearing. And there's a few sequences in the Zoom Zoom song where he's, like, dressed up in a suit and stuff like that. And he looks decent, like a decent human being. And why is he dressed like that? I really thought that this was a remake from Wanted, where, that movie came out a while ago and everybody was wearing, plaid shirts and faded bleached jeans, and I thought, okay, this is a sequel. Radhe is wearing the same clothes that he was in that movie, makes sense. But then it's not a sequel to that movie, so why did they actively choose making him wear these terrible clothes? Like, everybody, from the producer to the director to the writer to the stylist to the script supervisor, Salman needs to fire the whole lot of them, because they are not helping him whatsoever. It's terrible.
And also, he needs an intervention from people who are knowledgeable about shit that happens in Bollywood right now.
Who is that? What is happening though in Bollywood that is knowledgeable or good?
No, like, maybe he should, like, actively participate with Yash Raj at the moment, because the Tiger movies make him look good. Sultan made him look good, and I think that's where he should, like, not at all collaborate with Prabhudeva. Also, Prabhudeva should retire as a director.
This was one of the questions that was posed in the Clubhouse, was like, which director should he work with, right?
Yeah.
And we really couldn't come up with many, because his my idea was, if he works together with, Yash Raj is close to what I had an idea, like, if he works together with Excel, like, have a whole unit behind him that can kind of create like a KGF type of situation for him. That could work,
But the thing is, like, Salman's ego will just come in between.
Yeah. Although, like, I don't know, like, I also think Radhe is probably like a fast food movie, because he was supposed to shoot Inshallah, right? And because that kind of got away and wasn't going to get released or made, he's like, I have a whole year free, let's just make whatever is easy to make, and whoever is free, let's just make that movie, and that result is then Radhe.
You know what he reminded me of? Like, towards the end of this film, where you could really see his age, like I said, he can't open his eyes properly. He's mumbling his lines sometimes. And that is not, like I give Salman a lot of shit, but I will say that he is consistently like one of the people who doesn't do things like that. Like he can actually deliver his lines. Like that's why he has the career that he does, basically, he's one of the three big Khans because he doesn't speak Hindi like it's a second language, and he doesn't, he makes it sound convincing when he does it, even if it's, hacky like this one. But you could see that he really couldn't do it, and I don't know if he was ill. I don't know if he was just tired of doing this bullshit. I don't know if he's just not having any fun anymore, and he's clearly one of those people that only works if he finds it fun. I don't know if it's just age, but everything about him, it kind of reminded me of Dharmendra in the latter half of the 80s when he was doing all those Daku films and action movies and stuff. And the drink had begun to take a toll, and he couldn't, he went from being that very polished actor to a guy who couldn't, who was mumbling his lines and was just, doing a set list of expressions, and you could really see the deterioration of him as an artist. And that's who Salman reminds me of in this particular film, and it's really sad.
Because the thing is, you can still make action movies as an older man, right? That's not the problem in terms of age. If Liam Neeson can make Taken, right? If Clint Eastwood can make Unforgiven, if, Stallone can make Expendables and even, the Rocky movies at that age, it's not the age that's the problem.
He has to accept his age. That's the problem.
No, but it's the material, right? If it's working in Sultan, right? That works. Even Bharat, to a certain degree, worked to, certain elements of it. But what is this supposed to be? He's supposed to be like a 28, 30-year-old, and he's double the age of it. So the whole concept, the whole execution is just not made for him whatsoever. So yeah, I think it's and the way he approaches, and again, I was hearing this on Haroon's podcast, which again, I was I could appreciate Salman during that interview because he was saying, I cannot stop working, because if I stop working, there's lots of day laborers and cinema theater people and people attached to me that aren't earning if I don't work, and I cannot take a holiday because I don't know what to do with my time. I have enough time that I spend with my family, and so I have to constantly be working. And I made me understood why he made this Radhe, because he knows that he's going to lose money on this. Like he said, I made a commitment to the Z team. I promised to my fans you would see me on Eid. So we're dropping this movie, but we are going to lose money on it. And I'm very, I understand that. So it's not the money. He wants to deliver something for his fans and the team around him. But I just think the team around him is bad, and it's very, very unfortunate.
That's not going to change until he starts, he understands the fact that this is a whole new ball game. Salman was able to reinvent himself 10 years ago, but you need to look at how the industry's changed in those years since then. He can't keep doing this.
I hope this is a wake-up call for him, but I don't know.
It won't
be. I don't think so. It's not going to be. He's going to blame this on Corona. He's going to blame this on, COVID tha, nobody came. Piracy now today is being mentioned. But
Cyber Cell. How many times did he mention the Cyber Cell?
Yeah. It's unfortunate, and also the next few movies he has lined up, they're all going to be terrible like this, Yeah. And I think the problem is, and I was comparing this with Shah Rukh, right? You could say, maybe he should take a break and think about what he needs to do with the career. But then Shah Rukh did that, and he's coming back with a Siddharth Anand movie. The most, we would hope he would do something different. He would, reinvent himself, but he's just doing a Yash Raj project directed by Siddharth Anand. And that's the same thing that's going to happen with Salman. All of his next movies are going to be terrible. And I just feel bad for the fans, me being one. I feel bad for myself because on the one hand, you can hate reviewers, you can hate us for giving this a terrible review, but I think a lot, and it is true when I watch the film companion reviews or, I read, other people's review, a lot of those reviews are about, I hate my job. I didn't want to review this movie. I want to review some, dark Netflix movie about a guy driving a truck. That's what I want to promote because 7 people will watch that movie. They don't want to talk or review about this movie. So a lot of the hate comes to that. So fans turn away and then they can only focus on trade analysis that are then reviewers, right? Like, oh, itne collection ho gaye, 4.2 million streaming and this and that. Oh, it would have made 100 crores. But that's just a sad way of approaching fandom, right? You want to come out happy after seeing your favorite star that you haven't seen a movie of a year. And I just do not believe that this is the feeling any fan can get. I definitely didn't get it,
Yeah, I'm most part of it. Like, I grew up watching Salman movies in the 90s, obviously, as all you guys as well. And I felt embarrassed for Salman throughout this movie. I felt really hurt, and also the fans, if they are lapping this up, they should feel embarrassed for themselves.
I don't think they are lapping it up. I honestly don't feel so. I think they're focusing on, the box office or, the numbers of streamers that are coming in. And a lot of it is also just bot accounts, right? They'll love everything, fire emoji. But this is shit. This is utter shit. There's nothing good about it. He doesn't look even good. Like, you can't even say, "Ke bhai kya lag raha hai?" He doesn't. He doesn't look good because his clothes are bad. The way he's shot is bad. The lighting is bad. His hair is the wrong shade. Like, it's all of these small steps. It just looks bad. Especially when Hrithik is doing war, right? He's leaning into it, and he's not taking off his shirt because Tiger is next to him. That's a smart play of Hrithik, right? Salman is doing the opposite, and it's such a whoever is advising him to do it is an idiot, needs to get fired. I'm getting more and more mad now. Like, it's crazy.
So, just to chill you out, there are 94,000 ratings on IMDb for Radhe, and it stands at 1.8 right now out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know why that would make me feel better.
It's not just you. You are not alone in this.
Yeah. So, Amrita, you wanted to ask me something before we start wrapping up this episode, right? What do you want to ask me?
Yes, I have one question on behalf of Sujoy and myself, and that is, why? Why, Asim? Why did you do this to us? Kaiko kya?
We suggested this, right? And I watched this movie straight after Sujoy. And Amrita, I felt, was conspicuously absent from our WhatsApp group. And until this morning, I did not know if Amrita would watch this movie. And if she didn't, I was actually happy for Amrita. At least Amrita got saved by being a savvy decision maker out of 3 of us. I've explained this. I make bad decisions all the time. I hurt myself actively. Because I don't know, this is how my brain works, right? But I feel like Amrita bach gayi. But no, I dragged you all in this nonsense. I can do what Salman is refusing to do. I can apologize. I'm sorry, guys. I should not have done this. But my hope was, even when we started Khandaan podcast, the idea was, we do these old movies of the Khans, and then the new releases will come up, and then we will, shift them in between. The problem has been that Aamir is ghayab. Again, Aamir, we never really relied on him because he was doing, one movie every 3 years. He's just been ghayab. I don't know where he is. Shah Rukh took this break that nobody expected him to take. And Salman is doing Bharat, Race 3, this shit, And so I was like, it puts into, question what are the life choices we have taken,
Anyway, I want to say that if ever there is a day that you doubt that Sujoy and I love you very much, then I want you to remember this episode. We watched Radhe for you. That is the measure of our friendship.
Yeah.
True. I appreciate you guys. I like you and I love you, as the Parks and Recreation quote goes. I do hope, like, I think, I think people listening to this, honestly, I would say don't watch Radhe. And a lot of people, I don't know, like, I feel a lot of people are still watching Radhe and getting annoyed with it. And I was like, why did you watch Radhe? Like, except us three in the podcast, right? Like, we wanted to do this for this show. But I do feel a lot of people know that this movie is going to be bad and are still watching it. And I want to understand their life choices. Like, do you not feel that a lot of people are watching it and they know they're not going to enjoy it? Why are you watching it?
Like, there is zero joy to be found in this movie. Like, the more you watch it, you question everything about this. I would like to read one mini review from IMDb by somebody called Subham Sharma 84129. The title says Hug Diya. And then he says हग दिया, मतलब सच में हग दिया. पहले थिएटर्स में हगते थे, अब OTT पर भी हगना शुरू कर दिया. End of review.
You have to translate this though, man.
So, yeah, I mean, hug diya, what would you say? Shut the bed or something. Yeah, they basically said he used to shit at the theaters before, now it's on OTT now. Yeah.
I think, honestly, like, to follow up on the point I was making, I think only Salman Khan fans should watch this movie. Because then the conversation in their mind can shift that, Bhai shouldn't do this anymore. Because it's not going to come from, they're not going to listen to reviewers. They're not, I'm probably going to get a few messages ke, yaar, tu Bhai ka fan ho ke, ye kaise kar diya podcast pe tumne, and that's fine.
Because Asim is a secret Akshay Kumar fan.
Yeah, exactly. That's the new one. Tu to Shah Rukh ka fan hai, that kind of thing. And it's fine, man. I have, like Salman, I have huge muscles and I don't care. But I really think only Salman Khan, like die-hard fans, should watch this movie and then come out and lead the conversation. Like, you tell us, what you want. Did you enjoy this? Are you happy with this? I don't know. Like, I almost prefer his singing career at this point. I want him to be a deodorant mogul. That's what I want Salman to be at this point.
I thought you were going to say that only die-hard Salman fans should watch this because it's a judgment on them and they're the ones that deserve to suffer instead of the rest of us.
But also, if they did find any joy and, found this a good movie, then tell us the reason. How?
Yeah.
Matlab kaise? Kya?
No, like, without snark, I would love somebody to convince me what any goodness they saw in this movie.
Yeah.
I would love to hear if people thought Disha Patani looked good, I would love to see if, that anybody was convinced by Randeep Hooda's hairpiece. These kind of things I constantly ask myself. Yeah. Amrita, did you have any final thoughts?
I will say that, the way Disha Patani is built, so she's very thin, she's very tall, and she dresses to emphasize her thinness and her tallness. And then you have Salman, who is sort of squat and square and like a little, he's like Bob the Builder Man or something.
It's a Lego man.
So, yeah, basically. And, or Johnny Bravo. You remember Johnny Bravo?
Yeah.
Like, he's basically built like Johnny Bravo right now.
Hey, mama.
So I feel like if you put Disha and Salman together side by side, which by the way this movie never does because Disha is actually taller than him, so it's always like at a perspective angle where they're the same height. That is another thing that I noticed. But I feel like if the two of them, like if you place them together side by side, then it looks like a 1 and a 0, and then that would make a 10. So like that might be a positive.
Oh dear Lord. I'm looking at the posters and the images of Radhe on IMDb, and I saw those first images and I was like, man, this looks cool. Like the way he's shooting, the way he's holding the gun. I was excited, man. Like, Prabhu Deva, man, always utter incompetent, unreliable, terrible director that he is, man. Like, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. Like, honestly, I could make this movie better. I genuinely believe I could have directed and written this movie to be better than this. Give it out to fans, crowdsource it.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. Like, I was, the last episode, I was kidding around and I was saying that I could have done a better job with the title song of this film. But honestly, I looked at it again and I thought some more, and I actually could. Like, I could 100% make that song a lot better than anybody.
Yeah. So, Joy, any final thoughts?
भाई ने ईद पे टट्टी कर दी. That's all I have. Like, I mean, you said like, oh, it feels like Eid because it's a Bhai movie coming out this year, and I'm like,
I have to say, like, I thank Corona and the pandemic for one thing and one thing only, and that is that because of the pandemic, Shah Rukh wasn't in this film. And that was nice. Like, we have a break from the two of them making special appearances in each other's Tatti films. So that is good.
Yeah. I don't know. I did feel nice that Salman said Eid Mubarak to me. I was like, at least some hero does it. Like khullam khulla, like aankhon mein dekh ke, like Eid Mubarak. There's something ballsy about this with the the state of India as it is now. But I was like,
I was also thinking, it's like Salman films the only films anymore in which the police wear a burqa and like show up and beat you?
Was he wearing a burqa in this one?
Not he wasn't, but like at least like in one of the chase sequences, like when they're rounding up all the drug peddlers in the city, the police wear burqas and like show up in the bazaar, and like it's a very classic Hindi film trope where the two women walk up in a burqa and you're just like, ye kya hai? And then they throw back their veils and it's like muttu muchhad, like
mote aadmi hai.
And then
also,
give you one slap.
By the way, did you guys notice like there's a sequence where he's wearing a bandana, Salman?
Yes.
And the bandana is covering the top of his ears. Like, it's
I did notice that, and I was like, "Kyun?" Like,
this is a really weird way to wear a bandana. Like, it goes under the ears. Like, it's like when you wear a baseball cap and you put the ears inside the baseball cap. That's not how you wear it. It looks really weird. I mean, this is the things I was focusing on. Like, all bad choices. Really bad. Let's wrap it up, yaar. Bahut ho gaya. Amrita, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at AmritaIQ, but I'm a little bit off these days. But I'll come back eventually. In the meantime, you can find me on YouTube where I talk about books at Amrita by the book.
So, Joy?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at 93K, and you can also follow the Khandaan Podcast on Instagram at Khandaan Podcast.
And I, again, suggest people really follow both of my co-hosts. They are doing amazing work on like the YouTube and the Reels. Amrita, you're on fire. Sujoy, dude, like those photo shoots you are doing are amazing, man. Like, again, both of you guys are doing amazing work. I'm watching Salman Khan movies. There could not be a bigger difference between us two. But I just also want to say, like I was hoping we would make this like a race 3 kind of episode where we would have fun joking about this movie. And I feel sorry, this is not even the case. It's just, this movie is just sadness.
Oh my God.
Anger.
Is Remo better than Prabhudeva now?
Wow. Anyway, I mean, thanks for listening. Whoever got through this, please don't watch Radhe if you're not a Salman Khan fan. If you are, please drop us an email and let us know what you liked about it at youpodcasting@gmail.com. I'm genuinely curious. Follow us at, Twitter. Follow us, subscribe, leave us a review. We got a lovely review. We're going to read it for the next one. And thanks for listening. Next episode is going to be back to the non-Khan episode. We'll be dropping Lavaris, but we thought we'd drop this one here first. Thanks for listening, guys. That's it.
Khandaan podcast founder at Singh.
Thank you for listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast. You can find us on your preferred platform from iTunes to Spotify and beyond. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel where we host our live streams from time to time and our Instagram account for announcement and clips.